I'm Carolyn.
I'm Carson. Let's
Let's
get
get tribal.
tribal. Woo!
Remember when we were beating for a while? Okay, anyway. So let's
Beating?
doing the bracelets. I have them all right here.
Oh, beating. Wait, I actually don't have one right now. If you can make me one.
I love them. Girl.
Can you like fix bracelets? Because I broke one
You broke
and
the chicken
really
one again? I already made you
no,
two.
not that one. No, no, no. Someone gave me a bracelet kind of like that from Africa, and I broke it. Or we were at the lake, and Greta and okay, it was my fault. I pushed my sister into the water,
Oh
and
my! You were about to blame Greta when you
wait, I'm not done. I pushed her in the water, which she had already pushed me. I was getting her back, and I pushed her in, and as she's falling, she reaches out and grabs my bracelet
Good
and
for her.
pulls it off, and it
Good job,
breaks and
Greta.
goes everywhere. No, it was terrible. I've been wearing it all summer.
No, you can fix that yourself.
I've never beaded before. I don't know
Me
how.
either until I learned.
Well, we have a
Anyways,
very exciting episode to get to because I'm excited to announce that we have a special guest that we're not going to reveal yet, but we're going to reveal right before we go to the break. But before we do that, we have a question from a listener. So Michaela
ooh,
emailed us and asked us this question. Do either of you have a secret talent or party trick that you haven't talked about? Carolyn,
wow,
do you have one?
that's
I think I have one.
I'm really that we haven't talked about like a secret. You say I'm psychic. I mean,
Yeah, so I always say Carolyn has a sixth sense about things. Like she'll walk into a room, look at a person, and know everything about them. And she'll even be able to say things like, "That person's not telling me something," or "They did something really bad," and you're like, "What?" And then you'll find out like months later that they actually did, and you're like, "How did you know that?" That's Carolyn.
intuition.
Intuition. But I do think that is like your
I
secret
have good
talent.
intuition. I do have good intuition. And my other one is I'm a really great singer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so for me, mine also was going to be about singing, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a great singer. I love to harmonize, but like okay, I'm not. I don't have perfect pitch, but I have like relatively perfect pitch. I don't know what that fully means, other than that, like I can't. Anyways, so like I can kind of like remember exactly the note and the sound of like music and stuff, but
Sing a little
my
bit.
nope,
My
no. I
dad loves your voice, and he has been replaying your show choir and all those clips that I sent him. My dad loves your voice, loves it. I quote, this is what
but
my
you
dad
don't.
says. I Carson's voice puts a smile on my face. My dad.
That's so funny. No, but my secret talent is that I can have never listened to a song before, but sing the perfect harmony throughout the whole thing as if I knew the song before I even had heard it. And so like that's my one talent is I can like harmonize on the go with any song and do like really complex chords with it.
It's
Um
annoying.
in my head. That's my and I whistle. I can do it whistling too. So I can whistle harmonize the first time I've heard a song. That's my secret talent. Okay,
And the
Carolyn.
hard thing about being around Carson when this is happening is I don't know how to harmonize. I don't know what pitch is. And I certainly don't have a pitch with my whistles. And so being that I am with Carson, when I'm with him, if I'm whistling freely or singing just like my own harmony, it's oh wow. If you just do it like this, you have no pitch.
I never do that, Carolyn.
You have too about my whistling.
Oh well, you don't know how to like try to whistle real quick. Show us. That's not. That's like a Tweety bird. Like
Who are you to tell me what a whistle is? That's like the people who define art and say that's not art. That's a whistle, Carson.
okay, fine. It's a whistle.
What is a whistle? Show. Jerry hates it.
Okay, yeah, her dog hates me. Well, we have a
Oh,
very
what?
exciting special guest that was voted on by our patrons. So we are excited to welcome in the next segment Q from season 46. So we'll be back with Q. Welcome back, everybody, and we got Q in the house. We are so excited to have you, Q. Thanks for joining.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to be here. You know, I know we got a lot to talk about. Episode 4, which was a great one, by the way. You know, it wasn't no big mistakes happening in that one, or was it? We'll talk about it though.
Okay. Well, first of all, I wanted to say you are our first guest on our podcast. That I mean, I guess we had Coach before, but like Coach is a legend too. So like we've got some awesome people joining. I'm so excited you're our first. I texted Carolyn and I was like, let's get Q on. He's so fun. I like your cameos are fun. Like I remember at the end of your season, I would go on to Cameo and just kind of scroll through some of your cameos because they were funny.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like how Carolyn's are very funny. Yours are very funny in a good way, you know?
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Well, speaking of cameos, you went on there to scroll to watch and look, but did you order one from somebody?
Oh.
Hold on, wait, what's going on? Did you order one?
Hey, Karen, I'm gonna need you to get with the program because you're like, I went to the store. I only have $5, but the item costs $8. Too much. I got to go back home and get $3.
And Carolyn, can you tell Jerry to quit barking?
No, I know.
White, put a muzzle on him.
Oh. Okay, can we like redo? Oh, but I gotta get the bark stopper.
So Carolyn dog doesn't like men.
Oh,
that's so true. Yes, Carolyn's
but
dog does not like men.
Actually, I'm gonna stop you though, Carson. You did that. What you did with him, that was your fault.
Okay, so Q, what she's talking about is I had this little dog barking remote, and it would make the dog start barking because it oscillated this high frequency. Well, now the dog doesn't like me and any man because of me.
No, that is not even the story, and you're literally lying. That's not what happened.
No, that is. Okay,
I had the most traumatic experience in my life. I'll be quick. I'm on my phone. Carson's upstairs just manhandling Jerry, being way too rough, and I can tell. All of a sudden, it was like, you know when your life flashes before your eyes? I'm on the stairs, and I just see my baby dog, who's a puppy, just tumbling like a freaking tumbleweed down the stairs. I couldn't even catch him, and then he lands on his freaking head, and he's like crying. It was awful. I'm like, Carson!
Okay, but to be clear, I never threw or pushed the dog down the stairs.
Doesn't matter. He was so scared of you that he went running.
Okay, but and I have a big dog Q, like a really big, like he's bigger than me. So like we play hide and seek, and so I just wasn't used to the small dog.
Okay, so noted. Keep Carson away from my son Ace because he's not going to be able to determine that he's not me.
You don't know you don't know your own strength. Like,
yeah. Okay. All right. Let's start with Q. How are you doing? We're so excited to have you.
Man, I am doing awesome. Back home, got my son. My wife went back to work, so I stayed home all day long with my son until she gets home.
Mm-hmm.
I played a game all day. These are my PS5 headsets, so I don't have podcast headsets like you got. You got some cool headsets, so man, you got wireless. Your voice is coming through clear. It's pretty dope. Me, I just got the PlayStation 5 headsets, but everything's going awesome, man. I'm loving this season for sure right now, and I can't wait to talk about it, man. We got a lot to dive into about this season I tell you.
Just as like a prequel to this is not, I don't want this. You know how there's so many Survivor podcasts, there's tons of them. And I get anxiety going on some of them sometimes because I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't talk like some game like blah, blah, blah. I don't talk like that. So I get nervous. I want you to, we don't hold back. And this isn't like a, well, you don't need to like know everything about the episode or like, do you know what I'm saying? Like we want, like, just be real.
Well, that's all I can be.
Oh, that's why we have you. Okay, I want to start with this because Gabe says something at the beginning where he says he wanted a mother ally even before the game. And he's talking about Sue, like a mother figure. Like, what did y'all think about that? Because that made me, like, I was like, I just rolled my eyes all the way around and again. Like,
well, it's one of those things. You know, he came into the game with a plan that said, hey, I want to team up with the older woman because, I mean, if you look at the past couple of seasons, the older woman has made it a lot further than some of these younger folks, like traditionally in the game used to be way, way back when. So he's coming in maybe saying, if I stick close to this person, maybe I have information, maybe I'll be safe. But I think they went a bit too far when they started calling her grandma. You can't do that. You can't call her grandma now.
Oh my. That's messed up. Sorry. And where do I look? Why am I looking like to the left or to the right? Where do I look?
Carolyn, right now it's looking like your device is underwater, and
like
it looks like your device is underwater, or you got the shower on in the background, just hitting the screen, and it's all blue. That's how it's looking right now.
It's just blurry. No, it's fine. It's like it will come in later.
Carolyn, are you wearing a buff?
Yeah.
Is this a buff fit?
Sorry, I gotta hide this. Did nobody notice? Seriously?
Notice what?
That I'm wearing my buff. No one even noticed.
Oh, I noticed.
Well,
I'm just talking.
Well, to my fairness, I can't notice anything again because it looks like you're underwater. Are you in Fiji?
Why?
Are you in Fiji right now? Are you filming underneath the water in a challenge right now?
Why is it, Carson, is there something wrong?
It's just that your camera's blurry, and so he's right. That's actually a perfect analogy for it. You quite literally look like we're looking through a glass of water at you.
But I'm not. But why do you guys not look blurry? What's going on?
I don't know. I can see Q quite clearly.
I can see Carson clearly.
This blurry of a camera. Is everything okay?
No, it's
Are you
fine.
on an iPhone 4?
What? Anyways, Grandma.
Okay, so and then also, I love this. So also, Sue is saying that she's 45, which I'm sorry, I would not believe. Like,
Carson, you don't talk about women's ages like this.
I'm not Carolyn. I'm just saying, like, it's like they're calling her grandma, and she's telling people she's 45. Like, there's something like not checking out.
Well, let's 45, and she's talking about her grandkids are up to age. I think either her daughter or son had kids very, very young, or she's not 45. Which I know that.
Girl,
I know that watching. I know that watching, but out there, I would be thinking,
you might be.
Maybe her kids had kids young, or she had kids young, or maybe she's not 45. So.
Right. And last thing you want to do is be like, you're not really 45 out
right.
there.
I mean, but to be fair, whether she's 45 or 55 or 58, like she says, it doesn't matter because he came in with the plan of saying, I want to team up with whoever, regardless of the age. She could have been 37. If she's the oldest person on the beach, maybe that's
grandma,
his.
Though.
A 37 grandma?
He said he wanted to team up with the old mom.
Yeah, the old mom, and then they started with the grandma talk. So that's when I think it went overboard right there, the grandma.
So, Q, did you go in Survivor 46 with a plan like, I'm going to align with, like, the old grandma, or am I, like, did you ever have those, like, preconceived ideas of what an alliance would look like for you, or did you just go in like, I'm going to be adaptable and see where things happen?
So I went into the game just really realizing before I ever went that it doesn't matter what sort of game plan I think I have going in or want to have going in, it's going to change. So I have to be adaptable. I did not say I want to team up with XYZ simply because I didn't know who was on my tribe. I didn't know who would I mesh with. I thought the first couple of hours, me, Jelinski, Tiff, and Kenzie would be a match. But then right after the sweat challenge, I'm like, not this Jelinski kid. He's out of here. So I was constantly changing to the point of going into it saying, oh, I want to find a, no, I want to find some loyal folks who want to play, who's going to watch my back the same way I watch theirs, but I'm not as precise to say, I want to team up with the older mom figure. No, that's not me.
No.
Yeah, so I talked to Carolyn a lot about this, and Carolyn jump in, but like, I can't stand when people say before, like, I'm gonna have this alliance and then the merge go with this group. It's like you don't know. Like
it's very hard.
It's fluid. You don't know who's gonna be on your tribe. You don't know what's gonna happen. Like I just think it's almost silly. So I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so then Sue is searching in the woods, and then she finds a rope and cuts it, and then drops a massive bloody bath of red-looking paint.
Yes. And from there, she proceeds to say, you know what? I'm going to clean it up. But she forgot to clean herself up. Because you know what? We don't have mirrors out there on Survivor.
Exactly.
So you can't see your face. So you never know if you have it here, there, here, all around and everywhere. So, and that's what she had. And, you know, I don't think her tribe mates bought that she was doing nothing, nor that she was bleeding, because it's very hard to miss all of that paint.
She easily could have got here. Okay. She easily could have gotten away with it, first off. Then she just started, I cut myself, I didn't cut myself. Here's what I would have said. I would have said, and call me gross, I would have said I just got my period and I am cute. And no one's going to question that. Don't look at me like that. It's the truth. Would you question me if I was like, if you were like, what, is that nasty? That is real life. And so who is going to question you if I have blood and I'm like, sorry, I'm on my period? Would
Yeah,
run.
but you're touching the handle that goes into the water well, and they got blood all over this well.
But,
Go to the ocean and clean up.
Tell me this, as if you walked up to me and you're like, what happened? Are you okay? If you say something crazy, if you say something like where people aren't going to want to question you because they're uncomfortable, they're not going to and they would have like ran the other way.
Yeah, that's with the people who are uncomfortable. But if I'm out there and I walk up on you all bloody and you say my period just came on, the first place I'm looking is down your legs. Like, I don't see any blood rolling down your legs right now. What did you do? Put your hand down there as a tampon? You put your face down there? You put your face down there? That's why it's on your face right here? Come on.
So that's what you do. So if the blood drops from the sky like it did for Sue, you rub it down your leg. That's the plan.
There we go.
Yeah, okay.
That's Carolyn's plan.
Nobody's going to question that, and I don't care what anyone says. That is smart, because being like, I cut myself, I didn't cut myself, no one is gonna that. And I'm not trying to make people uncomfortable, but like, sorry, we're women and it happens. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? It's gonna gross you out so bad and make you just feel like, ew. Well, like, what are you gonna be like? Do you need help? No, you're gonna run.
But I agree with what Q was saying about the mirrors out there, because that's what I was thinking too, because there's a confessional where Sue says, and I cleaned up really well, and then you see it on her chin as they walk up. And
see, that's Sue.
Yeah. Like, it was kind of like,
Awful.
oh. Yeah, and I loved how she changed her story. Like, at first she was like, I fell, and then she was like, actually, I bit my tongue. And then
But it's
Tiana's
so true.
Yeah. None of those reasons would have been a reason for me to believe. That's it say.
Yeah.
But I like her effort. She was thinking on the fly. Like, she had to make something up and make it up quick. And she did that. So I give her that.
Yeah.
It's scary. And I also think too, it's like, you just never know. And like, when I had got like, it's such like a rush and such like a, like when I forgot to close the cage, like, and I literally, my thought was like, I'm going to go back to camp and I'm going to go and lay down I don't ever go in the shelter and take a nap. And then I'm like, oh crap. And I can hear you guys like, but it's so much anxiety and panic that, so I can't imagine, like, it sucks. And it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Q, we kind of bounce around like whatever we're feeling. I just wanted to talk about your hat real quick because I want a Q Burdette hat.
Cute.
I went to your website, and Carolyn, this is the first person I've seen who does this, and I'm so proud that we're talking to him first. He has a pillow on his website. Did
How
you
did
know
I
that?
not know? I think honestly, I was so like it's hard for me sometimes to like follow everything. It is. It's the same reason I don't answer DMs or I don't. It's not like I think I'm too cool. It's just stuff gets really busy sometimes. So I'm really pissed at myself that I didn't see that.
So Q,
Did
I'm
I
gonna
see
order
it? Did you send
the
me it?
jumping. I just saw it. I'm
Did you
literally gonna
just add
order.
that?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it right now and send it to your house so we have one when we're
Did
there.
did you
S-
Hey, Carolyn, just so you know, it's me jumping up out of the water half naked.
see what the why did I not know this? Did you send that to me ever, Carson? We're horrible people. I'm
no,
pissed at myself right now. I like
I'm
this is the
texting
stuff
it
that
to you right now.
I'm so ashamed of myself because and it's the truth, like
No,
these
no, no,
seasons
Carolyn.
come and I
Listen,
just can't keep up
listen.
sometimes.
Don't be ashamed, boo. Just order a couple of them. How about that? Make up for it right now.
I want
Yeah,
to say
so
this to you. Good for you, Carson. There's shadows. Good for you for not giving a crap because that's what we wanted to do during the season is just celebrate and just have just make fun of yourself and have fun. It's like good for you. It just shows me like you have the confidence to be able to do that and you don't give a crap and I love that.
Yeah, it's just
I
it's fun. So
I love it. And so if y'all don't know, go to qburdette.com and he has amazing products from hats to shirts that say big mistake, your iconic line, and
it's
the amazing pillow.
That's so cool. Like, good for you. So many people are afraid of that stuff. Good. And I bet you didn't get any crap for the pillow.
Oh,
yeah,
because
because
she's
I
referring to
oh
me getting crap for
oh
it.
Did
you
you
got
get
crap for
crap?
your pillow?
Oh, Q. It was a whole thing. Like,
Why did you
got
not get made fun
Wait,
of?
who
canceled.
did you who did you get crap from?
Oh, the
Everyone.
internet. I like got canceled for the pillow for
Well,
like
no,
for
then that's
like
an exaggeration. Who cares? But like, why didn't
Oh
you get made
wow.
fun of?
well,
Why
I mean,
didn't you
I
get made fun of?
okay, people will say, "Well, Carson, you were selling them before your season came out," which I would agree. Yes, you are right.
So
But
was
the way
Q
it
probably.
happened, well, the
No, no,
way it
no.
happened was Carolyn and I were like joking one night, and we were like, "Let's do all the crazy stuff." And so I put a pillow on my website, and for her, we made socks of her. Well,
Hmm.
nobody cares about Carolyn's socks, but Carson's selling a pillow of himself.
Because I have a weird personality and I'm goofy, but Carson's like smart and like he thinks so full of himself. And it's like he can have
So I had to
fun
get away
too.
with it.
There's certain personalities that can get away with like doing weird stuff. You know what
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
Carolyn, to be fair, you can get away with doing a lot of stuff
Yes,
that
I
we
can.
probably can't as well.
That you're correct.
She can. She can get away with anything. Let me
True.
tell you.
Yeah.
It's true.
Just like my guy Rome right now. He's getting away
Wait,
with murder.
are you
Great
loving
Literally.
Rome?
transition.
Happy
Yeah, what's your opinion
transition.
on Rome?
Man, I love Rome.
Exactly.
Rome is playing his game his way. He's aggressive. He's protecting his people. He's rubbing some folks the wrong way.
Good.
But it's showing that that sort of a game can get you buy a couple tribals if you can kind of click up with the right folks. But right now, man, Rome is just so much entertainment. He's so fun to watch.
Exactly.
He's mainly the reason why we turn our television on Wednesday to see what is this guy gonna do next. I
Exactly.
just hope and pray that he can find a way to dumb it down just a little bit
No.
so he
No.
can go a bunch further. Carolyn, you cannot continuously play like that, especially when new folks arrive to your beach or you
It's
arrive to a new beach. Your original tribe, they get used to it, numb to it. The first time you try to do that in a larger group setting with other folks, you're out of there. You're gone.
you
Yeah.
lasted.
Yeah, but I knew when to dumb it down.
Mm.
Girl.
Carolyn, did you know when to dumb it down?
No, I was just depressed. To be honest, like it wasn't even like an act, or not like any of it was an act. But I mean, I just was like so depressed that I was just like, I don't care anymore.
And see,
Well,
and I was going to
go
say,
ahead, Q.
last night, I don't even think it was intentional, but Rome saved himself by just coming up saying, "Oh, Keyshawn brought through your name." He saved himself
Yep.
because Jennifer, she was going to vote with them before they. Now it made her sit back and say, "Whoa! If he'll throw my name out there, if he'll put me out there in front of the gun, is he really with me?" And it made her change her mind. So I don't know if Rome did that on purpose or if it was just
No.
one of those things. Hey, I'm gonna come clean, but buddy, that saved you last night.
It's true, and I think
Yeah.
that because he was sticking up for, is it Keyshawn?
Yeah,
Keyshawn.
Yep, he was sticking up for him, like, oh no, he didn't mean it in a bad way. He
right.
just said your name. Nobody wants to be the decoy vote, and no one like. Then Jam did that to me, like, you're gonna be the vote tonight. Just don't even like question it. It is what. Heck, no, nobody wants to go out on Survivor and be told what to do. They don't, and like. It's true, and so I appreciate her, Genevieve, being like, you know what? I didn't come out here to do that. And that's why I said the same thing. That is why I appreciate players like Rome so much. I don't care if they're the smartest, like, and he's smart. I don't mean like as a human. I don't care if he's like, he's playing dumb. He's got to lay low. That is boring to watch. I don't care. I don't care the people like, this is a game for $1 million. And you know what? There's a lot of stuff that went on out there, but who's that person who like didn't talk in their confessionals because they thought it would impact the game? Like, heck, no. It's like, no, I want to have fun. I want to experience it. I want to like be a part of the ocean and the everything. I want to be great. Like, that's your dream. You go out there, you want to find the idols, you want to do everything. I can't. We need more people like that. And I don't care if it's smart. I'm not watching this as a football game. Girl, this is
The
supposed to
person
be
you were referring
entertaining.
to was Danny
What?
Boatwright. You were talking about Danny.
It's just like, seriously, like, I don't need a million. And there it is. I feel like with the new era, yes, I do. There's a lot of people who are like, this, like, well, it wasn't shown out there. No, you just were literally quiet and scared. And it's boring to watch. It is boring. I would much rather have people like Rome who are going at it to get, like, he is excited about every advantage and every, good for him. Like,
Yeah.
Well, he's certainly fun to watch. Like, if you take Rome out of the equation of the Lavo tribe, this tribe would be incredibly boring. Like, he is definitely bringing the fun.
And that's why I say, let's let them dumb it down some so we can get more of it. Who wants to get 5, 6 episodes of it? I want 12, 13 episodes of Rome. Can we
And
get that?
I'll be the first to admit he drives me crazy. Like, even watching him
why?
sometimes, just like the overconfidence. Like, sometimes it kind of gets
Yeah.
under my skin a little bit. But you're totally
Yeah.
right, Q. He has brought so much fun that you just don't see. Like, and the thing is too, and this is what I appreciate about Survivor casting, is there are a lot of people like Rome out in the world, but sometimes like they only want to cast people who would be good at Survivor or like perfect and like never say the wrong thing. And I
Do they?
appreciate that they have, yes. And I appreciate they have people like Rome who are like, no, I'm gonna go and tell Soul to his face, I'm gonna steal his
Yeah.
like, it's fun. It is.
Exactly. What, you really feel like that? Do you agree, Q, that you feel like Survivor casting is like that, where they want people like who say the right thing?
I don't know kind of what they look for, but I do know every single season it has puzzle pieces essentially in which the players have to fit. And if they didn't feel like Rome would be that sort of a player, they could have just grabbed, like Carson said, somebody else who's like Rome, but no one else would play this role the way Rome is playing it to fit in this puzzle that, again, us players, we don't know what that puzzle looks like. We're just put on an island and said to go play. But they're so great at casting and finding talent that they kind of already know before we ever hit the island, sort of the game that we're going to play. Now, unless you have a couple folks who can keep them on their toes and do some crazy things that they did not expect. Here we go. But that's what makes the season awesome to watch, and I'm enjoying it.
You must have had Penny if you're talking about the puzzle pieces.
Well, there are a lot more puzzle pieces, including in the challenge that we're going to talk about in the next segment. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back. Hey y'all, this is Carson. I thought I would change this up a bit while I was editing and show y'all some of my family fun puzzles, given that this episode, we clearly see that the tribe struggles with the puzzles. So if you want practice with puzzles and jigsaw puzzles that look like certain objects and have really complex different maneuvers and ways that they intersect, I highly recommend you check out my small business Puzzle Knot, where you can challenge yourself with friends and family and try to get your score to as quick of a time speed as possible. This was one way that I prepared for the TV show before I went and filmed. So if you find yourself in a position where you just want to have some fun and try these out at home and see how hard they really are, highly recommend you check out my business at puzzlenotbycarson.com.
All right, guys. We are back. We have puzzle pieces to talk about in this segment. You know, like the puzzle piece that the Red Squad never even put in place. We're going to talk about it in this segment. Let's get to it.
I want to start with a quote from the Jeff Probst that I full-on cackled after their challenge. He said, "A rare visual, a puzzle that ended the same way it started, as if it never happened." Sassy Jeff is back. I mean, that was so, I mean, write that down, put that on a poster, put it on a shirt, a pillow. Like, that is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I was dying.
I would have never guessed that they wouldn't get one piece in all of that time.
I love
one piece. Come on.
Right. I have a theory on this, and this is how I remember our puzzles being on our season. And I kind of knew the puzzles in and out because at that time they were still repeating them, right? But one thing I noticed is that at the very, so they have that little table that they allow you to put, that they stack puzzle pieces on before you actually start the challenge. Well, it's interesting because the placement of those pieces on that stack is very intentional. It's not scrambled. It's not different for different tribes. It's all the same. And if you look at the different layers, what's interesting is that the pieces on the top are the ones that go on the edges at the top, at the end. The pieces in the middle go in the middle, and then the pieces on the bottom, the ones that are hardest to get to, are the first ones that you put on the puzzle. And so I think the real issue is for Rome's team is that they were starting with those top pieces that are on the outside edges. And like, I know this because I had seen it and like done it so many times. Like, I knew when I would just look at the stack, oh, there's the puzzle piece I need. And every time I'd have to like hold the stack and like pull out the bottom. So just as a future note for future players, always remember that the pieces that you need first will be at the bottom of that stack. And they won't let you put them on the ground if you need to like put them somewhere else. Like, that's why they make it more difficult.
Well, for future players, guess what? They're going to change it up now because Carson just said it.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I should have saved this for
How can you confirm that, though? How can you confirm
because I was watching, you can literally see where the pieces are. And so it's the same thing if you have a puzzle where it's like on a table, they're going to put the edge pieces, the ones that go on the outside, at the bottom to make it more hard. And then they tell you at the same time, you can't put them on the ground. Why? Because you're trying to get the pieces that you need. So
I hate the puzzles.
Yeah, it was a pretty puzzle though. So I loved watching it. But yeah, it was quite crazy to see how, like you said, they literally didn't get a single piece.
Do you want to know what I loved about it, though?
What?
Rome just was so calm, and he was not panicking. It was almost like, yeah, I didn't get it, so what? Not that, like, I loved it. He easily could have been like, oh my gosh, and like, I'm sorry, everyone, or...
Well, so, Carolyn, but that's what confidence within your tribe will set in when you don't have a clue that you might be going home. If Rome was on the other foot in Soul's position, would he be that confident? Would he be that stubborn to say, I'm going to sit on the ground. I'm not going to change. I'm not willing to get up, move around. if you felt like you were at the bottom and potentially going home if your tribe lost. And that's what we have to start holding folks more accountable for. Your actions within challenges. It doesn't matter. So if Ron thinks I'm not going home, so I really don't care if we finish this puzzle. Well, I would light a fire up under his butt and say, you know what? Maybe you are going home. And he almost went home. So it's just one of those things. I think that's why he was so calm. It's the fact that he wasn't going home, and he knew it from that standpoint. But he did not know that there might have been a plan that could have sent them home.
That's good.
No, that's true.
Yes.
I agree. I also think you're big on challenges, right, Q? Tribe strength.
Well, no, I'm big on.
Do you think we would have worked together out there?
You think me and you?
Yeah.
It just depends. Like, again, every day is different.
Did you
every
see season
challenge.
44?
Oh, yes, I did. I saw you get caught in the net and screaming and yeah, I saw all that. But what I'm saying is, your performance in a challenge, as long as you're giving your all, it doesn't matter if you're the best or worst, whatever. If I feel like, hey, whatever you have to give, you're giving it, I can't be mad. And if you go back to my season, the only time I was upset after challenges is when I screwed up. I held myself accountable. I was never upset with other folks or blame folks or come back to say, oh, you didn't do your job. It was always, I could have done better in my challenge for myself to maybe make sure that I at least give my tribe a chance to win. When I'm bad in a challenge and I'm not playing my best and we actually lose, now I have to say it's my fault. Now, if everybody else was slacking and I did everything possible, I say nothing. So
I didn't have it in me, Q, where, like a lot of people will say, I'm on Survivor and like, the cameras are all around and like I have that adrenaline and I just want to like keep going. And this is the truth, and it might sound like really, I don't care, it's the truth. I just felt like, when is this going to end? Like, I am embarrassed. Like, I can't even get this piece. Carson, can you hurry up with this puzzle? Because I literally have one piece and I'm sick of standing up here. Or when everyone was doing their puzzle and I couldn't even get to the stage where people were. That's embarrassing. I just wanted somebody else to win. I didn't have that fire in me.
Let me just tell you, in that case, Carolyn, somebody else was going to win.
I had people helping me. Lauren was literally helping me. I couldn't figure out that buoy thing. I couldn't figure it out. And I, like, whatever, it is what it is. It's not that I never didn't try. It did get embarrassing, but it was like, I would get to a point where I was so behind that it was like, just take me out of my misery. This is embarrassing.
Yep.
My favorite is that, like, they know they're embarrassed. They get back to camp and they're like talking about it. But did y'all catch that Jeff, when he's doing his little apply for Survivor, not only he like rubs it in by going and putting in the piece that Rome and Genevieve could not get. Like, it was so,
why wasn't Genevieve down there with them? Why wasn't Genevieve down? Like, why was it just, and I didn't notice, were the other people like helping each other? Why were they so separate? Why weren't they like taking turns like putting the pieces in?
Well, I think that's one of those things. Rome put himself in a position and he wasn't really willing to change. Because you could hear Soul and everyone else in the background saying, change positions. That's not it, Rome.
Oh, yes.
And even when they would tell him it's not it, he was still trying them in spots. And I'm just like, okay, either you're not listening or you just don't care at all about making a change. But regardless, in that challenge, that's a problem. You have to be willing to listen, adapt, and try to take coaching from your tribe mates, especially if they're on the outside looking in and what you're doing is not actually working. I would be the first person to look over and be like, guys, help me. What do I need to do? Change? Okay, cool. Let's switch.
Mm-hmm. Why did that get brought up when they were, obviously his personality got brought up as a reason to why, like, or he's rubbing people the wrong way and whatever. But did anybody bring that up after the challenge? Like, hey, he completely bombed this and he wasn't even listening to our opinions. Did anyone bring that up about the challenge?
I'm sure that was in consideration.
It just wasn't
when they were
shown.
I was going to say, I did not remember seeing it. I know, they talked about being embarrassed, which, I mean, that is an embarrassing moment. But I think that's the extent, because it had so much else to show in this episode, like Rome, scroll, arm, and soul. Give me your shot in the dark or else. What would y'all do if somebody did that to y'all?
I did have that happen.
Would you give them the shot in the dark?
And I did.
Wait, who did that to you, Carolyn? I can't even remember.
Danny, Brandon,
But you
Josh.
gave them your shot in the dark?
No, I'm kidding. Jam did it to me pre-merge. He thought that, but it was more, so he thought, Jam had thought that if he gets a bunch of people's shot in the darks, he could like make an idol with it. So he, and so I go to the producers and I'm like, he can't even use my shot in the dark, right? He wants it as like a token of trust after I had betrayed him or whatever.
Right.
And he was thinking he could like build an idol or something, but they were like, he can't even use that. So I was like, oh, here, take it. It fell out and they were making fun of Andy for being all clumsy with it, falling out of the pocket. Mine was always falling out of the pocket. I didn't care about that thing. If I have to rely on my shot in the dark, I put me away anyway. But
well, tell Caleb that, because Caleb played his, and here we go. So I think if you think I'm going home, it's a shot that you need to play it, I would play it. You're on a tribe of 5, and all 5 the other 4 say, we're voting for you, Carolyn. You don't have an idol. Are you just going to go up there and vote one person's name? No, you're going to play your shot in the dark, I would hope.
Yeah. I found it fascinating. Right. I found it fascinating how, not only did Rome strong arm him and, throw it in his face, which, to Soul's credit, I would have probably reacted similarly, where it's like, dude, what? And then also, it was so funny because Soul is like, what is going on? So he's like, I'm just going to go to the water well. And then Rome, is right beside him the whole time.
Yeah. That was
crazy.
It was good.
How could that not bother anybody? I mean, that would drive me crazy. Oh my gosh.
I would have took Rome on a high-speed chase through the jungle to see if he can keep up. I would have took him all around. I would have squirk out running.
Dang, we really missed that opportunity, Q, for you and Rome to be on the same season, and that happened where he
God. Let me just tell you. Me and Rome on that season in that moment right there, black eyed peas, because I would have blacked both his eyes.
Maybe we'll see you two together for 50.
For what?
Oh.
I couldn't hear. What'd she say?
She said she basically said that she wants to see both of you on 50 together.
Oh, well, hey, if the cars fall that way, let them fall. But until they fall, we don't know.
What are and if you're uncomfortable, don't speak. What are your thoughts on 50? Are you excited to watch it? What are your thoughts on it?
So for me, ever since I've started watching in COVID, I don't miss an episode or a season. So I'm always excited to watch, but it's so hard for me to say I'm excited to watch a 50 because we still got the rest of 47. We got 48. We got 49. And then 50. So it's so hard to look out that far. And I know a lot of folks are like, oh, I want to be on 50, which, of course, everybody does. But
do they?
It's only so many. A lot of folks. Come on. Now, Jeff just said it's 86 people. They're down to 86 or some people. So that's a lot of folks even if they did 20, that's still a lot of folks for 20 spots on the roster. So it's one of those things. I'm excited to watch. I'm excited for 47, 48, 49. And if I'm fortunate enough to get a call and potentially be on 50, then that's what happened. But as of right now, I'm just enjoying 47.
Me too. That's good. That's a good way to put it. And let's get to the tribal and what ends up happening with that group, because Genevieve catches wind that she was thrown out by Keyshawn as the decoy. And then I love the editing segment where you see like Keyshawn in the background, and then Genevieve is like picturing it. She gets this wisp, and she's
Love
like,
it.
and she's like, what am I doing? She runs, it was just an epic like scene. I loved it. And I want to give Genevieve props because I think that was the whole time in my head. I was like, Keyshawn literally not only talks a lot like Omer from season 42, but he reminds me of him in the way he thinks. Like they seem like very like calculated and like in a strategic like kind of muhaha way. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I pictured Keyshawn. And I in my head had been thinking, oh my gosh, Keyshawn's gonna go all the way. Like he's gonna win. And Genevieve catches wind of this early on and is like, nope. And then switches it all up. And I'm shocked because Genevieve has barely been shown until this episode. And I'm like, where's Genevieve been?
Shout out to her for making a move.
Yes.
She made a play. And at this point in time, this is the biggest move of the season to just switch it up the way she did. And for them to go into a tribal where Keyshawn is thinking, oh, a vote is going to be stolen. It's not going to be mine. Joke's on you, buddy. Wrong. Give me that there. Give me that vote right there, Keyshawn. It was so good to see her just come out of her shell and say, you know what? This is my game, my opportunity. I'm finna make it. And if I make a mistake here, I can live with it. But she at least acted. She put a plan in place and she saw it through. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her for getting that moment to be seen, to take the credit, to have the credit. And can't nobody say it was their plan. It was hers. That is awesome.
Truly.
Can I?
Oh, go ahead, Carolyn.
Why am I so like? Can I ever just like jump in there normally? Okay, so basically, okay, I felt like that happened so much on our season. Where the plans would change, and I had this belief, but like no one ever listened to me, so like I had that against me. But like where people would change the plans so much that it was almost like, okay, I remember, what vote was it, Carson? And you're like, I am not doing that. Remember? And I'm like, it was right before tribal, and I'm like, here, we're switching
the
it.
Franny one.
The Franny one, and it was only me and Franny. It was awful. Who did we vote? I don't even remember.
Y'all were trying to switch it on Heidi, I believe, or something crazy.
But my belief was like, because it is that crazy, like you're going around from group to group to group. There'd be times where like I couldn't even keep up what was like happening in my head, and I would be around this group, and then they'd change, and then we're on, and then I'm like, shoot, what am I supposed to? Oh my gosh, I can't. Oh crap. The plan would change. So it was like, what is the real plan? The fake plan? You know what I'm saying? It was, it would change. Did you feel like that, Q? Or was it more so like, that's the plan, we're all sticking to it? And that's
no, plans changed constantly for sure on my season. It was just one of those things of, for me, it got to a point to where, okay, once we've said a name, we've stuck it. I'm not going back and forth. Now, if it's a last minute thing, like on our season, last minute I deal with Tevin, it's one of those, it's so hard to change that in that moment, the only thing I could think of is cause chaos, cause commotion.
Yes.
Maybe we can get them to see that this, and it didn't work like that for them, but at the same time, plans in Survivor, they're going to change. When they change, we don't know. It's like the tide. We don't know which way the tide is going to be flowing and going. We just know it's going to be high at one point and low at another. You just hope your game and your plans in Survivor is always moving the way you need it to move.
Cute. That sounds like
write
analogy.
that down.
That sounds like an analogy one would use at tribal council.
Say it again.
That sounds like an
Do you
analogy.
have a book yet? Like, put this in your memoir. Like, wow.
I'm working on a book, but it's not a book detailing anything of Survivor. It's just my journey in real estate and how I started. A lot of folks don't know my story on the real estate side, but 6 years ago, I had nothing. I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know anything about real estate. And you fast forward now, I have 48 houses and a lot of things going for me within this industry. That's really, really well. So I'm writing that in a book, teaching the folks the game plan to let them know you don't have to be the smartest guy. You don't have to have the connections. You don't have to have all these shiny tools that folks think you need. You just have to be willing to work for it. And I've worked for it.
Ooh,
Well,
that's
can you give
beautiful.
us like a that's really cool. I didn't know you're writing a book, and I feel like that is just an incredible and exciting thing to work on. And before we go to our next segment, could you give us like a quick, like almost prequel of what to expect and all that, because
Oh, yeah.
that's really exciting. We want to highlight that as well.
Yeah. So I have a question for y'all. Do you know what the numbers 168 represent?
I have no idea.
It's the most important numbers of your life. It's the most important number of anything business that you're doing.
What?
It's the number of hours in a week. The second you can break down your 168, you're in control. You know how much time you're sleeping. You know how much time you're going to the gym. You know how much time you're spending with family. You know how much time you need to kind of jack off and play, not jack off, but, play around,
Yeah.
play around on the games and outside and all these different things like I want to do. It leaves you only the time left over that doesn't really matter in life to work on your business. All the fun things need to come first. Then the hours left over, you should tend to your business. So we talk about the 168. We talk about my 4-point system. We talk about the 5 points of cold calling. We talk about how I got started in the business, how I talked to 6,000 people my first 30 days in the business. We talk through all of that and what you need to start buying houses. How do I buy a house? It's going to be a very, very fun, exciting book. And it's not going to be one of those books you read. It's just like, oh, he's giving us all just knowledge. No, it's going to be fun to read. It's going to be stories being told. It's going to be embarrassing moments. It's going to be mistakes that I've made.
Good.
And this book, The Perfect 168, will change your life.
Well, I'm
Wow.
inspired.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Hugh, thank you so much for being our first guest. This has been
I appreciate
so much
y'all.
fun.
That's it?
I know we're gonna take a break and Q won't be here, but I'm really sad, and that was so fun. So we'll have you again. This is not a last time sort of thing. So.
Oh, yeah. And the last thing I'm going to say is, because I always have to like to remind folks, don't forget to get your hat, Carson. And Carolyn, don't you forget to get the pillow.
I'm
Literally
kidding.
ordering right after this. I'm not kidding.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Well, let's do it. I appreciate y'all for having me on. If I can ever help, let me know.
All right. Thanks, Q.
Yep.
We'll be back. Hey y'all, this is Carson. I thought I would change this up a bit while I was editing and show y'all some of my family fun puzzles, given that this episode we clearly see that the tribe struggles with the puzzles. So if you want practice with puzzles and jigsaw puzzles that look like certain objects and have really complex different maneuvers and ways that they intersect, I highly recommend you check out my small business Puzzle Knot, where you can challenge yourself with friends and family and try to get your score to as quick of a time speed as possible. This was one way that I prepared for the TV show before I went and filmed. So if you find yourself in a position where you just want to have some fun and try these out at home and see how hard they really are, highly recommend you check out my business at puzzlenotbycarson.com.
Okay, we're going to talk about, are you wearing that Patagonia hat? Okay, so we're going to talk about what's puzzling us and bringing us life. And so basically, what's puzzling me?
I was thinking we switch it up. So, because usually we do, you do what's giving you life, and then I do what's puzzling me. I say we switch it up. You do what's puzzling you, and I do what's giving me life. Okay, what's puzzling you, Carolyn?
Because I literally was like, what's puzzling me? So I was going to do it anyway. So basically, what's puzzling me right now is, I don't know, you could actually say like what's keeping me up at night too. And it's, let's put it 2 for 1. And it's these little crickets. I have a cricket on the run in my house and I don't know where it is. And it's really funny because Carson actually let crickets go in his, can I talk about that? Your sister's room? Yeah. You were being naughty and bad and like playing a prank on your sister. And I don't know if it was you because you recently were at my place. Did you let a cricket on the loose? So
no, the difference is that the cricket that I put in my sister's room, which that's a whole story because I actually talked about this in my Survivor casting interviews, because they
Awful.
were asking me questions about, because one of the things that they focused on in my casting was that I was chaotic and then calm, and you never knew which one. And so they were like, Carson, what's an example of you being chaotic? And I was like, oh, you have no idea, Matt Van Wagenen. And I pulled out of my desk, I had my cricket beeper. And so basically it's a PCB that every 5 to 35 minutes it will like do this really loud cricket sound, and it sounds like a real cricket. And you can buy them on Amazon. I love them. And I hid it over winter break in my sister's
So messed
fan.
up.
And my sister's fan. And like the next day she comes down, she's like, I think there's a cricket in my room. And it took every ounce of my being not to crack up. And so 2 weeks later, I was walking up and my sister was about to move out of her room because of the cricket. Like my dad had gotten a maintenance person to come and check on all the appliances in that room, and like it was bad. And at that point I was too far into the prank to admit it. But then I was walking by and my mom was like, she looked at me and she knew. And she goes, where is it? And I just started laughing. It was kind of like you, where you have that sixth sense. Like I just started laughing, and then I went and got out of her fan. My dad has never been more angry with me.
Well, yeah, it's a really it's awful, and there's a cricket in here, and I hear it, and it's like,
But
yeah,
no, yours is a real cricket, because we actually did find a real cricket in your
one cricket, yeah.
house.
And now I've not found any more. It's like, where are they anyway? I've like, it's like, okay, anyway. So
Okay,
I'll find
what's
out.
giving me life this week is I am obsessed with this game on Minecraft called Bed Wars. And and if you don't know what Minecraft is a sandbox game where it is a recreation in blocks of our world. And you have the ability to build houses or go on an adventure with friends or beat the Ender Dragon. Like it's just like the ultimate immersive life like experience in blocks, and it's so much fun. And if you haven't played or you're skeptical, just try it. It's so much fun. Even I got Carolyn to play with me at one point.
It was like,
And
'cause I used to do it. Like, yeah.
yeah, you were trying to defeat the Wither Storm.
I was trying to find the Wither. I was trying to figure out how to spawn. If I would have known you back then, my life would have been a whole lot simpler. It took me about 3.5 years to figure it out.
And anyways, there's this game called Bed Wars on a server, and it's so much fun because like your goal is to protect your bed but also destroy other people's beds. And it's so fun. I literally could play it all day and every day and not have a problem. Like it's become a full obsession, but it brings me so much joy. So I love it. That's what's giving me life. Okay, well, it was I really enjoyed talking to Q. I thought he was so much fun. Like he's one of those people that's just like a breath of fresh air, because like he's so himself and funny, and like I love like the way he's good at saying things. Like you almost just want to write down everything he says.
Honestly, though, sometimes he wasn't smiling enough, and I had a problem with it. It's true. Did you notice that? There was times where he wasn't smiling, and I didn't like it.
I honestly did not notice.
I didn't.
But we're going to answer some more questions on our Patreon. Specifically, should we say which question we're answering, Carolyn?
Are we in the talkies?
Not yet. So we should wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Girl, are you
we
kidding?
have a really...
You are such a shit stirrer. Yes, you are.
Just like Keyshawn. Okay, we have a really fun question we're going to answer in the Patreon. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our Patreon. Otherwise, thanks so much for listening this week, and we will be back for episode 5 of Survivor 47. All right, see y'all.
Gosh, 5 already?
I know, it's crazy.